It's the special seats. It's one of like when you go to the baseball games or something. Upgrade your tickets thanks to Kane's Furniture. Get to sit in the super duper reclining. So anybody wants to get too comfy over there, feel free to sit in. So, hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. Right? Okay. Remember, we don't say Happy New Year around here. It's Happy New Year. I don't know how heavily attended we're going to be. This is one of our earlier, absent of having it on January 1st. January 2nd is about as early in the year as we can have our first meeting. So I know a lot of people emailed me and said they were still traveling, and several are up north, which you think it's cold. It is cold here. All right? It's very cold here, but it's colder other places. So I flew last night, and it was, I think, 13 when I took off from Nashville. So, but it feels, I mean, this, whatever it is, 40 degrees, I think my car said, but it felt cooler than that to me. Then it was pretty chilly. So that's good, though. This time of the year, it's supposed to, right?
I like it.
Yeah, come on. You guys, anytime it's above 50 in Florida, they're breaking out the Uggs. I mean, it's like, holy smokes, well, I never get to wear my Uggs. So here I go, right? And my one opportunity. Fur coats are coming out. All right. Joe Elmer, I saw him. He had his fur coat walking in, all pimped out, ready to go. So it was all good. Excuse me, I'm fighting a little cough, but I'm going to get through that. We don't have any mini vendors here this morning. Maybe they're all sleeping in, so that's good. So we'll crank through a bunch of stuff, and there's some things I want to cover. Maureen's not going to be here this morning because she's too busy processing your dues. So make sure you remember that. The dues will be coming out, I think usually the 4th or the 5th, sometime around then. So if you haven't updated your, if you're through a bank account or credit card, whichever, just pay attention if you missed that. Or sometimes like I have some credit cards that are expiring this month or something. Sometimes that happens. Just, pay attention as we go through. So everybody had a good Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah? And everybody's here, so that's good that you made it through the New Year's festivities alive and safe and well, and good to go, pretty much. All right, and good. A couple things we're going to cover later on because I'm looking around the room and I don't remember how many of you I saw, and that's good that I didn't, because we're going to cover in the December. I went through and did some business planning, help you lay out a game plan for trying to business plan for the new year, and we're going to do kind of a quick, enhanced version of that today, so you can catch up on some of that. Then I want to kind of cover some of the ideas that we have going forward for the year, some exciting things and some encouraging ideas for you to engage in, because I have seen some commonalities in the successful agents and the non-successful agents, those who engage, those who don't. As much as we like to be islands sometimes of and amongst ourselves, sometimes it's really good to get together in a group setting. There's the dynamic that occurs in a group that is powerful and important to have. So, cool? All right, Brian, I'm going to talk to David here in a second. I think you're our lone vendor. That's pretty important.
That's because I work.
I love it. All the other home warranty companies are sitting at home huddled by their fireplace. Let me come on over here so they can hear you online.
Yeah. So
We got a bunch of people probably online sitting home in the coziness of their houses as well.
I'm Brian with Old Republic Home Warranty. Really, I only got two things to say. One is I'm 99.9% sure we're not going to have a price increase next year.
Okay, good.
So that's a good thing, right?
All right. There's that point one, so you had.
So that's point one.
Right.
Point number two, 42,327. That's how much service we did for you guys last year. We paid out $42,000.
Nice.
Over $42,000 for you guys last year.
Nice.
So just so you know, we do take care of our customers, so that's important to know.
And those of you who don't know, Brian, Old Republic Home Warranty, fantastic. Tell us a little bit more.
So you put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
So, well, just to remind you guys that our warranty covers washer, dryer, kitchen, refrigerator in the standard plan. We also cover all the R22 Freon, which a lot of them don't cover, or they only cover part of it. And
replace both systems.
And we replace both systems under the Florida mandate. So those are the big things for us. But more importantly than that, we pride ourselves on service. We've got good service vendors, and if they mess up, we make sure that they don't mess up again. If they do, then they're no longer with us. So we do track all our vendors. We do, in fact, we just hired a person to actually work with our venders.
Oh, nice. Kind of
So he's going
vendor
to be,
liaison.
he's going to be, yep, he's going to be
Right.
flying over the United States working with our vendors. So we can create a better relationship with us and them. So
Awesome.
that's everything. Other than that, everybody have a good New Year, and we're all going to make some money this year.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks, Brian.
lot of money.
Perfect. So, home warranty, remember, there's no vendor that I have a relationship with. I mean, I get emails every day from home warranty companies saying, hey, partner with us, own your own home warranty company, right? I don't know if you've heard of those, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, things that, you know, as a broker, I want no part of, right? I just want to bring you valuable people that I think have the integrity and the work ethic that we believe is matches your guys' work ethic and integrity, and allow you to make decisions amongst who you want to use. By the way, you guys, part of our addendum to our contract is, you know, the buyer and or seller sign off. They've been made aware that home warranties do exist, and they accept or reject, and people, well, you know what, it's in the, you know, why do we have to do that? Part of the reason we do that is because on my errors and omissions application every year, I have to say that 100% of our clients are always offered a home warranty. Okay, so it doesn't mean they have to sell a home warranty. It just means that they're made aware of the existence. What's that? Yeah, that's right. That's right. You gotta, and it has to say Old Republic on it, right? Yeah. You want to pay for my E&O policy? Let's talk, right? Okay, here we go. That's right. But that's the reason, because you want to make them aware that it exists, right? And then it's ultimately the consumer's decision, right? You can educate them as best you can. You're not there to sell it per se, but you're just to make them aware so that you know, because it can be a lifesaver, right? It really can be, you know, in certain instances, and you do that. So a few new people came in, so we're good. David, you ready?
Always.
All right, so we got our resident attorney in-house. All right, people, do you have an in-house attorney? Said no, but we do. All right, and David's been a huge asset to us. David Rankin, if you know him, he owns American Patriot Title. So there's the title side of that, and you know I'm a big proponent, a big fan of attorney-owned title companies, because when things get hairy, it's like, oh, I don't need that. Well, the time you need it is you wish you had an attorney that you could turn to, right?
And my middle name is Harry.
Is it really?
That's right.
See, look at that. When things get hairy, right? Then it's somebody that you can turn to. And you've heard me say it a couple hundred times, is that whether we like it or not, when somebody gets a letter and there's Esquire behind it, right? Or it has this term that says govern yourself accordingly. You guys ever got one of those letters? Good for you. All right, I get them all the time. All right, all right. That's, as the broker of 1,300 agents, I get a lot of letters like that say govern yourself accordingly. And when you get those letters, they're never fun, right? And so sometimes just a letter, hey, this seller on the other side, even though we canceled during the inspection period, refuses to release their earnest money. Contract's very clear. We canceled timely. Everything else should be good to go. Should be no issue. What happens, right? Well, all my blabbering, all your blabbering, everybody else, you know, trying to do everything we can to get the money released, does nothing until a letter shows up from David, right? Now, like, okay, now he lays out that the contract's very clear, and not only are you going to be obligated for the $1,000 of escrow, but you're going to be obligated for any fees that I have to charge my client to get this money back. Okay, next thing you know, the release is signed and we're moving on. So, you know, it's helpful to have that. I asked David to come in today specifically to speak a little more about, as a reminder for us, about cyber fraud. Very big right now, okay? Huge. That's why we have the wire fraud notice that we're mandating on every contract now. Everybody understand? I should see nods. Everybody, that we're mandating on every contract now, right? That thing is going to protect you in the event that a client goes sideways on you, and I didn't know, and I just wired $160,000, and it had a Russian routing number, right, or whatever it is, okay? The idea is here's what's happening, is they are hacking, and people, we've had a couple agents recently where a title company, not David's, has called me and said, hey, look, we just caught 2 instances of clients receiving emails supposedly from your agents, right, saying, here are the wire instructions. Okay, first of all, you need to make it clear to your clients that you will never give them wire instructions. Okay, never. Right, and that means you never forward on wire instructions. So it's never coming from you. You make that clear at the onset. You'll never get wire instructions from me. You'll get them directly from the people that want the money wired. Now, the hackers know this, so what are they doing? What they're doing is they're hacking into your email account and making it look like the email's coming from you. All right? To say, oh, hey, just heard from the title company, great news, scheduled closing. And they're very good. I mean, it makes it look like an email you would send, right? We're good to go, everything's happening, boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, they're wiring funds, directly to some other account that's not really the title company's account. This title company approached me saying, hey, I think they're hacked into your server. I said, well, it's hard to hack into our server and we don't have a server. All right, so, but what they are doing is, you got a company as large as ours, go to our website and you see our roster, right? And it's forever. They're just jumping in there and using an email alias, right, that's yours, all right? Jim@futurehomerealty.com, and it looks like it's coming from you, and so they just make it appear as such, all right? The other thing they're doing the same thing to title companies, right? They're doing the same thing to, anybody who's involved in the transaction to make it appear like that's there. Here's the key, and this is what the wire fraud notice says, is that they should, anytime they receive wire instructions, the client should independently research the contact information, all right, of the entity that's requesting the wire. For instance, if it's American Patriot Title. You don't just go with, oh, American Patriot Title, I call them right there at the bottom of the email. Okay, the email's hacked, so do you think it'll give you a legitimate number at the bottom? No. Okay, no. When you call, this isn't the American Patriot Title, all right? Yeah, send money now, please. Okay, thank you, this is good number, all right? Okay, that's what you're getting. Is it true? So you call that number and you're talking to the hackers, right? So you want them to go online somewhere, look up American Patriot Title, find out from an alternative source their contact information, call them and say, hey, look, I just got wire instructions. A, no, they weren't from us, or yes, they were from us, and can I confirm that those are the right ones? All right? Because everybody's wiring money now. We get, right? Nobody even wants certified funds. Everybody just wants money wired. I get it. All right, but the hackers know this. Okay, so David, help us help ourselves. How do we save ourselves from ourselves?
All right. I love it. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yeah.
Yep. That was about 10 years ago. There was a promo for a movie, and that's what it started with. And I was saying to myself, man, if I could just find a time in front of a large group of people just to be able to say that, because it really gets people's attention. But it really applies to cyber fraud, all right? Can't hear enough stories about this because this is what helps everybody remember it, all right? So imagine this. As a title company, we get involved in a transaction. It has a happy ending. Don't worry about that. It has a happy ending. So we get involved in a transaction where there's going to be a simultaneous closing. There's another title company that's doing a closing in the morning, and they're going to send us the proceeds. So you think, well, what could be easier? We're going to send our wiring instructions to the first title company, and they're going to wire the money to us. Everybody lives happily ever after. But in the back of my mind, there is this music that was 30 years ago, written by John Williams for a movie called Jaws, and it's going dun 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 dun, and I'm thinking, what could possibly go wrong? Well, what could possibly go wrong did go wrong, has a happy ending, but we, American Patriot Title, sent our wiring instructions to title company A, and I had shared with my staff that, okay, before we engage in this process, before that closing occurs, before the money is available, I want you to call them and make sure, number one, that they got our wiring instructions. And she said, oh, I'll do that, boom. And she started to turn away. And then what I want you to do is verbally confirm what our wiring instructions are. And she said, well, why would you want to do that? Well, I said, trust me, So she calls, and then she comes back in about 10 minutes later, and she said, you know, the strangest thing happened. And I said, what was that? I said, well, I confirmed, and I felt pretty good, because she said, yes, we got your wiring instructions. And then I said, well, I want you to verbally confirm. And first she said, oh, no, it's got your logo at the top. She said, no, my boss told me, verbally confirm. And the lady started reading the routing number, and after 2 numbers, my staff member said, that's not ours. So, if we hadn't called to confirm that it had arrived and verbally confirmed, the $375,000 that was supposed to come to our title company that afternoon would have gone to the 400-pound guy that Donald Trump is fond of referring to. You know, after the election, you know, we all got to do something, you know, and if you don't have an election to work on and you're in bed quite a bit of the time and you're a little bit overweight, you got to do something. So they've turned to cyber fraud, all right? So, you know, it's kind of funny, but then we get back to be afraid, be very afraid. Because if you're a realtor, and just remember, you know, first of all, remember, be afraid, be very afraid, but then remember what Bob said. Do not, absolutely do not participate in any way, shape, or form in transmitting wiring instructions. Imagine this, I'm the attorney, I get a call from a buyer, or excuse me, a seller, and the seller says, you know, everything was going well, the house had sold, and all that was left to do was to send me my $268,000 that I'd been waiting for, and I was going to use to buy another home, or I was going to retire on, and it left the country. And I, the attorney, am hearing this story, and I'm thinking, okay, who am I going to sue? All right, we're going to sue, you know, the title company because they're the one that transferred the money. But you know, some of those title companies, they're not very well funded. Maybe they didn't have their insurance in effect at that time. So my gosh, we've got Future Home Realty. It's, you know, got this big website. It's got this long list of people on there. They must be doing really well. So we're gonna sue them, and then we're gonna also sue the realtor. You know, before we do anything, we're going to make sure we have that long list of people. So for some reason, one of them is underfunded, or one of them doesn't have insurance, we're going to be able to get somebody to pay this money. All right, that's just the reality of the world that we're living in. All right. So now another thing to remember here is this: you're your own company to a great extent. You have established an email, and you're an independent contractor. So when somebody out there is trying to hack, they have, you know, Future Home Realty, and we've already learned that there is no server there. All right, it's your email address. All right, and there's certain of the older email addresses, such as, and I'm no authority on this, but I am told that if you have an AOL account or a Yahoo account, you haven't, you know, you're just really fond of that. Maybe you met your wife or your husband using that, you know, maybe that's your lucky email or whatever, and you kept it forever. Well, let me tell you, those are easier to hack into, at least I'm told. So what you might think about doing is changing your email address. But sit down and have you know, we're in the new year, spend a little money, sit down with your IT person and say, hey, there's a real problem out there. I've got a target on my back. I just want to make sure that I am never hacked into, and it never doesn't get used too often in the IT world. But what can I do to raise the bar as far as, you know, when that 400-pound guy starts to try to hack into my email account, what can I do to make sure that I can't be hacked into? All right, that's one good thing that everybody ought to commit to doing in the month of January. Okay, because one of the worst conversations you can have in life is to call up Bob. I said, Bob, as soon as you say I have a problem, then in Bob's mind, he wants to be compassionate, but then he's saying, I've got a problem too. And it is a huge problem right away. So imagine yourself as the hacker. Do preventative maintenance. The one thing that Bob, you know, you can't tell enough of these stories. If you hear them several times, it's okay because it's a good thing. But The most common thing that they do is they will communicate with the title company, and they will change one letter or one number in the email address. So it looks, if you're at a title company, you know how, there's so much of a demand on your time. You got this file, that file, you move from one, and the last thing you're going to do is check, most staffs do is check the email address that it's coming from, all right? So what you need to do is make sure that your email address is ramped up as far as security, and you also need to educate your clients. And this will show them how sophisticated you are. This will be a great reflection on you and will distinguish you from the other agents out there. Say, hey, I know you're busy. I know this is, this presentation is taking a little long, but there's something that I think is very important, and that is cyber fraud. Now, your buyer and your seller are the ones. Once you commit never to participate in the transmittal of the wiring instructions, then you've insulated yourself to a great extent. But what you need to do, absolutely positively, is to show your concern for the buyer and the seller and explain what I've explained to you, tell them a story or two, and then also when they read through that acknowledgement, have them read through it or read it to them. Everybody loves a good bedtime story, and just read it to them, nice and slow. Do you understand that? Because someone in your career is going to have that email where it says, where they get hacked, and they are, something in the confusion, they participate unwittingly to them losing a bunch of money. All right? So educate your buyer and your seller. Tell them that you care by telling those stories and telling that if you don't keep your guard up, you can unwittingly become a victim. And I, your realtor, don't want to see you be a victim. All right? Now, are there any questions? I can't say that I'm the world's expert on this topic, but I just wanted to put first of all, I wanted to be able to say, be afraid, be very afraid. Now that I've done that, I also just want to make you aware of the issue, and you can't think about it enough. I'd love to participate in the Happy New Year and that kind of thing, but it is something that can really spoil your day, spoil my day. I won't even mention that. Yeah. But just be aware, be very aware, okay? Thank you.
Awesome. Here's the thing, too, guys. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. They're going to get very sophisticated, because where else can you do a $375,000 heist, right? I mean, it's one thing. Their risk reward is great. The potential for a reward can be they don't have to hit on a couple of these a year, and they're doing all right. Okay, and so realize that, and like David said, educate your client and say, hey, look, well, you seem like really, what's the word I'm looking for? Hypersensitive to this. Well, I am, because I want to protect it's your money you're going to be wiring. So I want you to make you aware that this is what's going on. These are the stories we've heard. These are things that have actually happened. We want to, guard against that at all possibilities. So even if you go, boy, that's really being overboard to call 4 times and call from a different phone number and all, whatever, man. I did it when I was wiring. I bought an investment property late last year, and I was wiring, 20 grand or something like that, and I grilled them upside down 3 ways from sideways, to make sure that I was talking to the right people, to make sure it was going to the right spot. So, and they're very sophisticated, because they can become very, very sophisticated. If you're going to make $375, it's one thing. They're less sophisticated. When they think $375,000, they're going to get really, really good at this. So, any questions for David while we got him?
Is that money, say it does go off into a fraudulent account?
Gone.
Would you get that back?
Really hard. It's really hard. That's why, by the way, just a quick aside, those of you who use debit cards, you understand debit card. A debit card, there's no disputing a charge on a debit card. That's cash. It's gone, it's gone. Credit cards, you can dispute the charge later on. You can say that wasn't me. You can, all these kind of things. I'm a big credit card guy as opposed to credit card that I pay off compared to debit card, use. I never use my debit card. I just don't, because it's cash and it's gone. All right? It's, and if you're using it online, they really, because credit cards online are a risk as well, but like I said, you can always dispute them. And, trust me, when we were adopting Samuel, this is even 8 years ago, I stayed at the Four Seasons Moscow. Trust me, I had to cancel all my credit cards that I used while I was there. Oh, you need to give us your credit card for online internet. Okay, next thing I know, all sorts of things are showing up there. All right, so when you travel abroad as well, make sure, just get a new credit card and just close it out as soon as you're back. Dispute anything is not going to do and go. So it's just, it's the world we live in, unfortunately. Everything's done.
This has a great fraud department. I've had my account, my debit card hacked.
Yeah.
Sometimes and they put the money back in.
Well, that's even better. That's great. If they do that for you, that's super. It's tough. Usually on debit cards, it's a lot tougher than on a credit situation. All right, because there's not as much money there. So, cool, awesome. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Anybody else got a quick 3 minutes questions for David? Anybody a legal question outside of that topic even? Nobody? Got free billable hours right now. I'm telling you. And those words usually don't go hand in hand, all right? Anything? David's a good guy. And he's a funny guy, too. Funny lawyer. Come on now. Give it up, all right? There's not many of those floating around. All right? Appreciate it. Thanks, David. Kevin, I saw you wandered in.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to tell us a little bit what you got going on at 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock today, right after this meeting, we're doing a presentation on the property pre-qual, which is a new service product slash amazing thing that we've created. And I think we had about 40 folks register for it, so I think many of you are here, in addition to seeing Bob, of course, to see that presentation. So today we're going to teach what it is and why it's important and why it's the best tool you can have for your sellers. And then at an upcoming meeting, we're going to have scripts and everything for the how. So
perfect.
How to sell it. And then next Thursday, the 11th, at the Rusty Pelican is our big meeting. We have about 200 folks registered for it so far. Cybercrime is one of the main
awesome.
We're going to talk about. And then I'm actually going to teach everyone kind of a brand new type of crime. It's a white collar crime. It's a very quickly growing thing, especially on the West Coast, but here as well. And I'm going to teach you how it works. So if you're a crook, come and learn the best way. And then I'm going to teach you how to protect your buyers from it and use it as a marketing tool to do more business.
Awesome. Great. And there's still room to register for the Baba?
There is.
Okay. Baba.
It's going to be our 24th main event, so this
Nice.
has been going on for a while. It started right here in this room.
See, look at that. She's all grown from there. Perfect. Great. So Kevin does a great job bringing education to all of you. Good information. Stick around after if you have some time. 11 o'clock, we'll get that started as well. So, and that'll be good to go. Yeah, and Kevin, you're right. I mean, you have to know these things, right? You have to, because you got to, like David said, you got to think like the criminal, right?
Actually, we missed the days of them just making fake checks.
Right.
Doing the Craigslist scams.
Right.
So we put a bunch of stuff in place to stop that. And now, yeah, we're targeted all the time. And I have jokingly say, if they can never just figure out their grammar in their emails.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And there's some online products that they could use for that. They could, correct all their stuff if they would just,
I'm sure that's their New Year's resolution.
That's right, exactly. I will speak English better. Absolutely. And write it better to do it. But from thinking of reverse engineering it, thinking it from the other side, right? Think like a criminal, you can protect yourself from the criminals. It's, I tell my 15-year-old all the time, you gotta, I'm 51, but I got a long memory and it's hard to con a con, right? Again, so I was a con long before you even dreamed of being a con, Joseph. So, you can't con a con. And so if you're educated in these things, it helps you do that, right? And the irony is, as sophisticated as these guys have become, is that if they ever use that knowledge and skill set that they have for legal means, they'd probably kill it, right? They'd probably do really well in the industry or any industry, right, if they just put their mind to it. But to David's point, it's a lot easier to be 400 pounds overweight in the basement someplace and just tapping away, and next thing you know, there's more money in your account. Cool? Awesome. Good deal. Well, I know we had some people wander in, so I'm going to be fast. Here's what we're going to do. How many guys came in December? I ran a circuit around the office meetings. I was at each office and taught, just kind of introduced business planning. I'm trying to think. Janina, you weren't there. Some of your other jammers. All right, yes, you came to one, right? Perfect. Which one did you come to?
Wichita.
All right, very good. All right. You were at one? Okay, perfect. We're going to cover that same PowerPoint. We're going to go through it pretty quick so you can take some notes. If you ever want a copy of the PowerPoint, hey, David. Happy New Year. You too. All right, thank you. If you want a copy of this PowerPoint, I'm going to go through it, just let me know. All right, just email me. I can fire it off to you. It's already on FHR University. Yeah. Okay. This class is already on FHR University, by the way, which, by the way, if you haven't been to FHR University lately, all right, you need to go back and check it out. All right, all sorts of stuff from contract-related stuff to business building ideas to personal growth ideas. It's all there. Every time we do something, all of our office meetings are on there, I believe, as well. So if you want to go back and watch a replay of an office meeting or something, see yourself live on camera, put Henry on camera. All right. Want to go back and put yourself, see, there you go. Want to go see yourself and tell your kids or go whatever, hey, I was a movie star, I'm on the internet, all right? There's a YouTube of me, right? So you're good to go. All right. Let's end this and get to our other one. All right, so everybody that ever teaches business planning, all right, in any industry is going to go through this very same thing. Because I guarantee this, that if we were, you've heard me say this before, if this was, we just came out of 332 BC and now we're ready for the year 331. Because, you know, you go backwards when it's BC, you're going, right? Okay, so the new year is 331. Of course, back then they didn't know it was BC because there was no C. All right, yet. So how did they know that it was BC back before? So they wouldn't have known, right? And so, however, my 15-year-old, of course, taught me, well, they used the Romans at it, Dad. It was the okay, whatever. All right. So he also said that to me in Latin as well. So. Okay, so what's the process? All right, so all we got to do, again, when I say that, is if we were going to 331 BC and this is the new year and you were I was sitting there and I was a sales manager for the chariot salesman of Babylon. All right, that's what we're going to go out and we'll sell more chariots this year, right? All right, guess what? Same stuff. Right? It hasn't changed because there are no success principles are success principles, right? The rules haven't changed forever. They really haven't. Okay, so the concepts that we're going to cover here are universal, no matter what industry you're in, and they're forever lasting because they've been around that long. Because it just makes a lot of sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer. You guys, you ever wonder why we're so concerned that if one of our planes goes down, right, the military plane, well, if they know they're going to be captured or before they do it, they blow the plane up? Right? Why? Because the technology that's in that plane, they don't want our enemies getting their hands on. Because if they get their hands on the finished product, then they're going to try and reverse engineer and figure out a way to make it themselves. Does that make sense? Okay? So that's the whole concept of reverse engineering. Is that we're going to start with the end in mind, which is one of Stephen Covey's habits. All right? I think it's habit 3 or 4. Right? In 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We start with the end in mind, and then we're going to reverse engineer to get back to what are we going to do. All right? Arcadius. Right? Arcadius Barr used to be an agent with Future Home Realty, went out and started his own real estate company because he wanted to do property management specifically. Right? So he's kind of doing this. Great guy, though. Fantastic young man. And it's one of those guys, Jim and I have talked about it before. The minute I met him, it's just one of those guys that you just know is going to be successful, right? Just going to kill whatever he does, right? And he's a fantastic young man, and he does some podcasting, and he shared with the Jammer group, all right? And we'll talk about the Jammer group in a bit because I'm going to encourage you to I want a lot more of the Jammer groups going on, okay? You can't steal their name. You have to use some of your own name.
No,
all right?
no, they can be Jam 2.
Jam 2, all right, good deal, all right. So, he shared with their group this podcast, and in his podcast, it was basically win the day. All right? Because here's what I'm going to tell you. Who wants to win 2018? Who wants to win it, right? Okay, guess what? We're already day 2, All right? All right? And if you didn't win day one, you're a day behind. Right? So what we got to do, in order to win 2018, here's the reverse engineering. In order to win year 2018, you got to win Q1 of 2018. You got to win the first quarter. Right? Everybody got that? But in order to win the first quarter, you got to win January. Okay? I'm not telling you anything that you haven't heard before. But in order to win January, you better win the week of January 1 through January 7. Right? And if you're going to win the week of January 1 to January 7, you better win January 1 and January 2 and January 3, right? And so the whole idea is we're going to take this global goal and we're going to break it down into what do I do today to win the day? Because if I win enough days, I'll win enough weeks. I win enough weeks, I'll win enough months. I win enough months, I'll win enough quarters. I win enough quarters, I'll win the year. Right? And so what we do is we're really good at setting this esoteric big goal, all right, for whatever that might look like. And then we don't even look at it, all right, until December 15th. Right? I'm going to sell 40 homes, all right? And so you get to December 15th and you break out that, you dust off the goal, all right? And kind of, what was that? Oh, 40? I've sold 3. Okay. Well, I got 16 days to sell 37. All right? Go. Right? It's too late, right? And so we wait too long to measure our progress so we can make the adjustments we need to make sure that we're on track. So I'm going to encourage you to not only business planning is great, but you get a business plan to the minutest detail, down to what am I going to do today to achieve that goal. And then, once I've learned to win the day, I'm going to check myself to make sure I'm truly winning the days. Are you with me? All right? So here we go. Okay, so first of all, get the idea out that this is hard. Okay? If you've been in my 100Ks, the first thing we start with is the mantra that this is simple, I got this. Because we overcomplicate this business, people. I'm here to tell you right now, you guys way overcomplicate the real estate business. You want the secret to real estate? You ready? Okay? I'm not going to charge you $850 to go to Bold to listen to this. Here you go. Ready? Okay? Do what you do well and let other people tell. Period. Seriously, right? Okay? Sell a quality chariot, right? And then let them go tell their friends, hey, where'd you get that chariot? Oh, I got it from, Jim. Jim's a great, he'll take really good care of you, right? Now, it's a lot easier to do this than it was in 331 BC because there was no Facebook in 331 BC, right? Things couldn't go viral, all right? They couldn't post a picture of them with the chariot, with their chariot purchaser, right? Like you guys do at the end of a close, which is you should do, all right? These are all good things to do because that virality, is that a word? Okay. They try and sell. I'm 51, so I get all sorts of emails from people trying to sell me stuff to make me. Okay, yeah, just kidding. All right. The viralness, right, of that thing expanding and going, getting is incredible with social media and the tools we have in place right now. So, but if you just do that, if you just do what you do well and then let other people tell, it's game over, right? Because how good is that to have inbound calls? So forget the whole idea that, man, let me put it, here's the example. Oh, am I wandering around? All right, sorry. That's good, though.
Your sweater.
Teach them to not come here live. All right? Sit home in your fuzzy bunny slippers, looking at our office meeting. Jeez. All right. Okay. Perfect. All right, better? All right, thank you. All right. Rain me in sooner. All right. So what was I? So this is simple, right? It's not that hard. Don't try and overcomplicate the business. Don't worry. I got so many people that, they're sitting at home wondering what's the best CRM to use, right? While the rest of us are out selling real estate. Okay, seriously, right? That's the number one question we always get. What do you think is the best CRM? How about who cares? Right? I never heard of that one. Yeah. Well, the answer is, it's a spiral notebook if you use it, right? If you'll actually pick up the phone and call the people back and fill it up with people, oh, I got this really tricked out CRM. Great, when's the last time you loaded somebody in there? Well, I'm about to. All right? About to doesn't get it done. We got to get it done. All right? So, forget about complicated. It's simple. All right? We're going to begin with the end in mind. Here's the number I'm going to throw out, 100K net. All right? You put your number in here. Here's the beauty of, we talked about math, all right, as a high school math teacher. The beauty of math is I'm going to give you a formula. You can plug in any number you want. Okay? 100 grand's too little. Put in 3 times that, whatever you want. 100 grand's beyond your scope of belief. I encourage you to have a realistic set of goals so that your scope of belief is where it needs to be. Put in your number, and let's back into those numbers, okay? I'm just going to show you how to net 100 grand, because it's that simple. Understand expenses. I use a figure of 20%. You might know your number. How many guys are incorporated? Okay? You're incorporated. You're going to go take a look at your business tax return, and your business tax return should tell you your expense percentage. Here was my gross. I grossed 180 grand. All right, my expenses that I wrote off were 80 grand. So I netted 100. 80 divided into 180 will give you your expense percentage. Okay? Those of you who are not incorporated, go to your Schedule C of your tax return. That's your sole proprietor. Your Schedule C is a profit and loss statement. That's all it is. All right? Because you take your gross income that came on your 1099, all right, subtract out all your expenses, and you get a net operating income. Take this net operating income, place that on line 17 of your 1040, all right, and boom, that's where it goes, all right? The Schedule C part is your profit and loss, all right? You should know your expenses. You should be tracking your expenses. You should have a budget. All right, all these things that we can teach you later, but all these things are important as a business owner. Oh, I forgot to do this. Everybody raise your right hand. Okay. I fully admit and understand that I am CEO of Me Inc. Okay, you are running your own business. Everybody understands that, right? Okay, your profitability is whose responsibility? Your responsibility, right? It's in your, if it is to be, it's up to you, right? I know that works for me. It doesn't rhyme like it does when I say it myself. All right, but if it is to be, it's up to me. All right, if I want to raise, I go look in the mirror. That's the person I need to talk to. So, but you need to run your business like a business. And treating it with the respect it deserves is critical. It really is, guys. So many, I'm taking some MBA classes, mostly because Jeanette's had her MBA for years, and I'm a pretty competitive guy. All right? And I finally said, all right, so I'm taking MBA classes now. And yet, and I'm early in, I've only taken 2 classes so far. And of the 2 classes, neither one, and I'm looking at the schedule that's ahead of me of what I need to take, and none of them are called How to Run Your Business by Flying by the Seat of Your Pants. Okay? Or the willy-nilly approach to business. Right? Yeah, but we see it all the time, right? And I've done it in my own career in the past, of not knowing my numbers and everything else, and like, just, you know, because most of us are entrepreneurs, most of us are high I's, most of us are very good salespeople, and salespeople generally aren't very good business people. All right? But we can't allow ourselves to say, oh, I'm a high I, so that's my excuse. Right? No, I'm a high I, so I need to make sure that I either hire out my S and my C, right? Or I learn to have a little bit of S and C in me so that I can run my business effectively. All right? And again, just that whole idea of, because I came from here's the school, right, that I came from. I'll outsell any mistake I make. Right? Oh yeah, I wasted some money on that, but that's all right, I'll just go sell more. Right? I'll outsell any budget deficit I come up with. And I did, all right? But once Jeanette reined me in and taught me how to actually pay attention to expenses as well, right? Now all of a sudden, I could outsell and keep a lot more. And I want you that same for you, all right? So we're going to run this thing like a business. So your expense, here's the biggest indicator for me. I remember, you guys know Gary Ubaldini? Okay? Yeah? Okay? Gary Ubaldini. I was at the Keller Williams office back in the year 2000 to 2001. right? Gary, I was doing my 411s with Gary. Great guy, by the way. I have a lot of respect for Gary. Even more respect after this discussion. I didn't do a lot of listings. I worked mostly with buyers. So I walked in, one of my buyers I had done what I'd done well, and they told other people, and I got this $280,000 listing in Dunedin, which in 2000, for me, it was a really high-end deal. And at the time, it's probably like a $600,000, $700,000 listing today, right? So it's a big deal for me. I got this listing, and I hadn't done a lot of listings. Now, this is dating me a little bit. So back in 2000, 2001, we still did things like advertised in the real estate book, Harmon Homes, Homes and Land. These are ringing a bell for anybody? Okay. And for you younger people, actually, pages, paper, ink, right? People would, they'd put them outside. They'd print them. You'd pay for the ad. They'd go in. They'd set them outside in these racks outside of Walgreens. People are down visiting from Chicago. All right, it's supposed to be warm here, so they're here. They're picking it up, and they look at these things, and they call you and want to buy a home. Okay? Well, we all do it digitally now and all that kind of stuff. But so I go into Gary and say, hey, Gary, I got this new listing. You know what, I don't have a ton of money to advertise, but the seller wants to see it in one of these magazines. Which one of these magazines would you use? She goes, hang on a second. She reaches into his briefcase, pulls out this notebook, all right, flips a couple pages over, and he said, what's the price point? And I said, $280. He said, all right. And he looks at his watch. I'm like, what the? It doesn't matter what time of day it is, right? So he looks at his watch, all right, and then goes down and says, you said Dunedin, right? I said, yeah, Dunedin, all right. You know what? He said, I'd probably go with the real estate book. I'm like, okay. What the? Why? He said, well, what we found is we're in the second quarter. That's why he looked at his watch. He was looking at the calendar, right? And what we found in the second quarter of the year in the price point between $250 and $300 in the Dunedin area, that every dollar we spend in the real estate book returns us $17.64, whereas the other ones are less than that. It's like, holy smeekin' smokes, right? Geez, that's what I did, right? And I said, well, how did you know that? I got to go. So he's gone, right? He's busy. So I'm walking by their office, and as I walk by their office, outside's a posting of all their ads, right? So I'm looking at the real estate book and how do they word stuff. I mean, because you all know that there's nothing new under the sun and the best ideas are stolen. You guys all understand that, right? Okay. So I'm digging through and I'm looking at their ads, and in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a code on every ad. It's a 4-digit number, -A, -B, -C, -D, right? So then I get intrigued, so I'm listening in, and the phone's ringing like crazy in their office because they carry 60 to 70 listings at any given time, right? So the phone's ringing like crazy, and then, hi, this is Gary Nicotine, thanks for calling. Oh, yes, on that ad. Can you tell me what the code is in the bottom right-hand corner? So I go in, and I realized that the 4-digit code was the last 4 digits of the MLS number, because that's a unique number that would tell them what the property is. -A, real estate book. -B, Homes and Land. -C, Harmon Homes. -D, whatever. Okay? They tracked their business. Because Gary, even though he was a saxophone player or whatever he was, right? Okay? By training, had learned to treat his business like a business. Right? And knew exactly how to run that and could tell me because of that data, all right, where to advertise that money. You need to be doing the same thing. You need to have that mentality that you are CEO of You Inc. You need to not just be throwing money out there because it's the right thing to do, right? Throw it out there with the purpose, because you understand money invested returns more than you put in, right? Money expensed means you made less than you put in. That's the difference in expense and investment, right? So advertising shouldn't really be an expense. Advertising should be an investment. All right, if we get that mentality. Everybody got that? Okay, so I promise it's going to go faster. So now that we understand expenses, we're treating our business like a business. We're going to learn to track these things. We understand what it is. By the way, you might have a different set of numbers here. If you don't have numbers, choose a number, but that's okay. We're not going to wait till December 15th to check. We'll choose a number to start with, hey, that seems reasonable, and then we're going to do a quick checkup more often so we can see, are we on track, or hey, my expenses are coming in at 17.374426%, right? So I need to adjust my numbers, or my expenses are coming in higher. Or sometimes my Q1 expenses are bigger than my Q2 expenses for some reason. These are things business people understand and know, right? Are you with me? I know. I'm starting to get a glazed look on your eyes, and I get the fact you don't want to do this, but those who don't do it don't succeed. I'm just here to tell you, all right? Fly by the seat of your pants means you barely come to the finish line, all right? And you're like, holy smokes, I could pay the mortgage, right? And I don't want that for you. I want you to be wealthy, not just surviving. If you're just going to exist, don't exist, all right? I want you to win, right? We talked about winning 2018. Are you with me? All right. Okay. So here's pretty simple. Here's the math part of it. Take your desired net amount, divide by the reciprocal of your expense percentage. Here in our example, it's pretty simple, right? So you take our 100 grand, we divide by the reciprocal of 20% is 80%, all right? The decimal representation of 20% is 0.8, or of 80% is 0.8, right? 100K divided by 0.8, you get 125. That means I need to gross 125 if I'm going to have $25,000, 20% of 125 in expenses, and still end up with a net of 100 grand. By the way, I think everybody, future home, anybody not future home in the room? Sometimes people yet? You future home still? Okay, yeah? All right, good, perfect. Anybody that's not future home? No, technically you're not, but you're welcome back, John. Good to see you again. All right, okay. As of this afternoon, you'll be future home again, right? Okay, perfect. All right, it's coming back. Don't forget to include your broker. We were teaching this class, I think, in the Wesley Chapel office, and we had somebody that was there from just visiting with us from Caldwell Banker. I said, well, your 20% doesn't count, right? Because already 40% needs to go to your broker, all right? So we need to double that just starting with your broker split and then go from there. I think your 20% for us, because with our 4K cap here, should cover the 20% should cover that $4,000 easily. Or again, you might find that your numbers are, trust me, the lower your expense percentage, right, the less you have to gross to net the same amount. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's good news. All right, so 125 grand. So we got to get to 125K. Okay, that's the amount we need to gross. Let's get to the gross. What's our goal? Remember, it's 125K. What's your average gross commission? Whatever that number is. I put in $4,000. That's about $160,000 average sale price at about 2.75% average commission. All right? Your numbers might differ. You might, hey, look, I sell the beaches, and so my average sale price is twice that, so my average commission's $8K. Great, good on you, happy for you, but don't lie to yourself, right? Oh, Bob, I could do 125 grand. All I have to do is list $8 million homes. Okay, well, how many $1 million homes did you list last year? 0, right? Okay, so what's your plan? I mean, be honest with yourself. You know what I'm talking about? For me, I would have given left and right for a 4K average commission back in the days when I was selling. Okay? I was selling stuff that was low end, my friend. Okay? People, oh, you sold 100 homes a year? Yeah, and I did $6 million in sales. You do the math. Okay? It's called a $60,000 average sale price. All right? So again, would I rather sell higher end? Yes. The good news is when you sell 100 homes a year, you got more people that you've treated well, and then they have a lot more opportunities to tell, right? So that's the bad side of listing only $1 million homes, is that if you only sell 4 of them a year, that's great, all right? But you've only got 4 satisfied clients to tell other people about you, right? Whereas you've got more to go. Remember, because transactions lead you to transactions. So you put your average gross commission in there, doesn't matter to me, all right? Just don't lie to yourself. That's what matters. When I do the math there, it tells me I need 31.25 transactions. Everybody get it? I need 125. If my average commission's 4, 125 divided by 4, 31.25 transactions is what I need to average. Okay? Now, if this is truly a number, if I sell a home where I get an $8,000 commission, that's two transactions, right? If you sell one that's only $2,000 net commission, that's only half a transaction. Are you with me? So we need to do 31.25. We divide that by 12 to give us a monthly goal. That's 2.6. Who has ever sold 3 transactions in a month? Who's ever closed 3 deals in a month? Okay? Done it once, you can do it again. Okay? All day long, right? twice on Sunday. Matter of fact, Sunday's a good day to transact business, right? So why not? Okay, I'm just, whoa, 125, never happened. I've never, let's break it down to win the day, all right? Sometimes we get stuck on 125 and we don't realize how simple it is to really do that if we just put some focus and desired effort behind it. So let's overachieve. Let's call it 3 a month. So remember we said we were at 2.6 transactions or so is what we needed. Let's call it 3. All right. That'll give us some leeway. If we miss a little bit, we'll still be all right. So we want to do 3 a month. Okay. Now, everybody got it? So again, who's ever done 3 a month? All of us, right? Brand new in the business. It's not that hard. All right. If you're brand new in the business, don't hang out with people that tell you how hard this business is. Right? Choose other friends. Seriously, all right? Go find other people that will talk about how easy this business is, right? Don't hang out with people telling you buyers are liars and every deal, nothing appraises and right? Screw that. I'm going to go hang out with people that are excited about this business, right? Go hang out with the jammers if they'll let you in. They're an exclusive group. You got to work hard to get into that group. Matter of fact, I can't even get in. All right? I'm kind of honorary on their Facebook page, but that's it. If I ever showed up at one of their meetings, I'd be booted out. All right? Because I haven't been in 2 in a row. That's the problem. All right? Good deal. All right. So, where does our business come from? Now I need to understand. I got to go Gary Ubaldini on you, right? Now I got to understand, where does my business come from? If I need 3 transactions a month, because 3 transactions at an average $4,000 average commission is going to lead me to my desired gross, which is going to lead me to my desired net. Just reverse engineering, right? Taking the big goal, breaking it down. What am I going to do today? Lead generating events. What do I mean by that? This is what I call new business. People that don't know you or know people who know you yet, right? These are people, this is not, we're going to talk about the other in a minute. Let's say I'm newer in the business, right? Oh, thanks. Let's say I'm newer in the business. Thank you. And I need to meet new people, all right? Well, can I tell you a secret? You're not going to meet new people sitting at home, right? Boy, I don't know why this business isn't working for me. But I sat home and spent 8 hours researching the best CRM, all right? But I can't figure out why nobody wants to, buy or sell a home, right? How about this? Go meet people. Go where people are. Here's a novel idea. How about go sit in open house? Oh, future home, I would come to you, but there's no floor time. Not all the floor time in the world. You have floor time? Yeah, absolutely. Go sit in open house. That's all the floor time you need. That's floor time. Wouldn't you rather come and be sitting in an open house where people wander in based upon an open house sign? Okay, the better chance that they might be interested in transacting real estate business is somebody that's waiting for their sandwich to be made at Publix and just wander in because you happen to be next to the Coldwell Banker's right next to a Publix in the strip mall, right? That have no desire. They're just trying to kill time while their wife's shopping, right? And they want to waste your time. How about somebody that wanders into an open house? I'm going to assume they need my help, right? So again, we call those lead or traffic generating events. Opportunities, and I won't shake hands because I'm trying to stay healthy, all right? I'm not doing a very good job, all right? But we'll fist bump even that there, okay? But I'm going to go where I can get face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball with people. You understand that? Because when I get face-to-face and eyeball to eyeball with people, I win. Every time. Every time. If I have enough opportunities to get face-to-face with people, way better than me having the coolest Facebook ad or the most happening Zillow zip code or whatever your thing is, all right? I will beat somebody every time if they saw them on a computer and they saw me face-to-face. I win, okay? We have a lot of hashtags in 100K. One of our hashtags is, and it's a long one, so get ready. Okay, hashtag eyeball to eyeball beats pixel to eyeball every day of the week. It's so true, right? When I can get here, shake somebody's hand, get eyeball to eyeball with them, all right, it's way better than the pixel to eyeball Facebook ad. The pixel to eyeball realtor.com enhanced listing superimposed, I get it. Websites are great, go for it. I have no problem with that. Make that part of your marketing campaign. I'm with you. Don't make it the sole part, right? And my stipulation would be that until you meet that person that you've met online face-to-face, the chances of you locking them in solid as a 100% guaranteed I'm with you kind of buyer or client is slim, all right? Now, it can lead you to getting that, and that could be part of your traffic. That's not a problem, but you ultimately want to get face-to-face with them, right? So, let's say that I've learned that 67% of my business has to come face-to-face interactions with new business I don't know right now, all right? Here's what I also know, that introductions from others, we don't like to call them referrals, but most people do. We call them introduced by somebody else that's already used me, gets about 33% of my business. All right, now again, your numbers might be flip-flop, been in the business longer, so 67% might come from the introductions, 33% needs to come from new business. You know what, you might have 4 sources in here, right? I'm gonna go with just 2 because that adds up to 100, right? But you might have 4 different sources. I do get some internet leads. I do get some value out of a Zillow zip code. All that's in there, I get it. Put it all in and figure out what percentage of your business comes from each of those efforts, right? And then we're going to assign the number of transactions I need from each of those efforts to get to my 3 for the month. That's going to lead me to my 36 for the year. That's going to lead me to my 125 gross. That's going to lead me to my 100K net. Are you with me? All right. It's not that hard, is it? It's pretty simple. Most of us do this, and we're not going to stop with this at the end of this, though, because I'm going to take you to the next step. All right. Because last time we taught this, we just stopped there. Everybody had a great plan and never looked at it. Okay. We're going to have something more. All right. So every month I need 2 transactions for my lead generating events, right? Because remember we said 67%, which is 2/3. 2/3 of 3 is 2. All right. I made these really simple. All right. Okay. So I need 2 deals coming from, hey Ron, how are you? I need 2 deals coming from my lead generating events. All right. Every month I need to be introduced. Okay. What does that mean? To one, hey, a referral, right? To one person from my sphere or my past people that I've serviced, whatever you want, my church friends, whatever, okay? I need an introduction, Facebook, all right, from one of those. Cool? Let's do the work. Every time I do a bank-owned open house, now why do I put bank-owned open house? Because that's what we teach a lot. All right, we teach bank-owned open houses because you meet more people at a bank-owned open house than you would at a regular open house. Sherry meets a ton of people because she and Lee Legue have booths set up individually at, you're at where?
Wagon Wheel and Oldsmar.
Wagon Wheel Flea Market and the Oldsmar Flea Market. Right?
We want new buyers.
Anybody, you need people?
We go into our busy season, all the snowbirds come in January, February, March, so we double up.
They have these booths set up that say bank-owned open house, bank-owned information, right? Foreclosure information. Why? Why do we put foreclosure on the sign?
Because it works.
Yeah, okay, exactly. Because we like, no, because it works. You put the 10-letter F word, all right, on the sign, and people come, right? They think they're going to steal a house. They really do. I can buy a house for $1, right? Whatever the thing. Okay. Well, I don't care why they come in, all right? It gets them in. Now I get the chance to get eyeball to eyeball with them, right? And then I get a chance to win. And you go where, really? Come on. I got into real estate to wear a Rolex, drive a Jaguar, and hang out at the country club. All right? Okay? Good on you. I hope that works for you. All right? But the country club is already filled with a bunch of realtors doing that. All right? You've been doing it for longer than you have, so you might be screwed. All right? Yeah. Okay? I can tell you the truth or I can tell you what you want to hear. It's up to you. All right? The reality is that when you go sit some of these stuff and get in front of people, what I learned is when I sat bank foreclosure open houses, I was meeting 10 to 15 times as many people as I was at a regular open house. Now, if you're really good at a regular open house and you've got a really good one that really generates traffic, keep it up. I'm not saying only sit bank-owned open house. I'm just saying sit places where you're going to meet people, right? Sitting at home watching Law and Order doesn't get it done, right? It's not, and those are really good. I like Law and Order. Dung dung, right? I love those shows, all right? I'm a closet, detective all the time, right? I love being that, okay? But the problem is it wasn't paying my bills, so I had to go learn to get in front of people and meet them. And by the way, real quick aside, we teach this in 100K. If you're going to sit there, if you're not going to sit there with the right attitude, then don't go, right? Especially if you have our name on your logo, all right? Because I don't want you poisoning the pool of potential buyers out there saying, oh, future home agents, stay away from them, all right? But people say, how did you get so good at converting people at your open houses? You know why? I had what they need. It was, listen to me, it was their lucky day to get a chance to meet me. Period.
Yes.
With that attitude, game over. I'm just telling you. I would say a quick prayer when they come in and, hey, you know what? Let me bless these people today, because quite frankly, I truly believe they have no idea how lucky they are to meet me today. I've got down payment assistance programs. I can work with investors. I'm really good at everything, and I work hard, right? And I'm in the top 3% of all realtors in the United States. So why wouldn't they be lucky to meet me? I'm just telling you. And with that attitude, it exudes. It's on the edge of arrogance, cockiness, you call it arrogant and cocky, I call it successful, right? Okay? Confident. Exactly. Why wouldn't they want to meet me? All right? They have no idea how their life's about to change in the next 15 seconds as they walk up the driveway. And I'm just telling you, that's how important that attitude is. Because you've got what they need. You've got a knowledge base that they don't have. They need somebody to navigate. How many of you guys know that there are bad realtors out there? Your job is to rescue these clients from these bad realtors, right? Your job is to get to them first, right? And I'm just telling you, it's the truth, because there are a lot of bad realtors out there. If there are that many bad realtors out there, they're lucky to get to meet me because I'm not a bad realtor, right? And so that's how I converted people. I didn't have a magic script. The script was my attitude, right? Was my mindset as they were coming in saying, man, here we go. Another person I get a chance. Chris Light kills it with first-time home buyers and all his down payment assistance stuff. You know why? Because he's got what they need. They have no idea. My nephew needed to buy a home. I referred him to Chris Light. All right? I said, dude, let Chris take care of you. He'll show you what to do. And he did, right? And he got it done. So anyway, bank-owned open houses, let's say that every time I sit one of these, whatever traffic generated event you want to call it, I meet half a buyer. Okay? Now again, or a half of a deal. Because you know that you get listings from open houses? Everybody understands that? Okay? People come in, they got a house to buy, it has to sell before they buy, or next thing you know, you take care of the niece, and then 3 months, 8 months, 10 months later, Aunt Gertie Uncle John just passed away, and little Susie's Aunt Gertie needs to list their home for $280 in Dunedin. And you sold little Susie a $60,000 condo, all right? But you did such a great job, then little Susie told Aunt Gertie, you have no choice, you have to use Esther, right? All right? It's true, all right? It's the way it works. So let's say we meet a half of one, all right? I need 2 transactions a month from these, right? Remember, because we need 2/3 of our transactions come from these, so 2/3 of 3 is 2. I need 2 transactions, so is it safe to say if I meet half a buyer each time on average? By the way, it's on average. For me, it was 1-to-1. Every time I sat in an open house, I averaged 1 qualified buyer. By the way, let's do a quick word on qualified buyers. Able to buy? What does that mean? Financeable, okay? Able to buy, ready to buy, okay? Not, I don't know, yeah, okay, great. It's not a buyer in our eyes. It's what we call, it is a buyer, but we have 2 different versions. We in our 100K again, we teach, we have microwave buyers, right? People ready like in the next 45 days, right? And we've got the crock pot buyers, all right? People we put in the slow cooker, all right? Put them in there, all right? And say, hey, look, and you come back every month or so, lift the lid. Oh, hey, you're up to 580. Great job. Credit score's coming up. All right, keep going, right? It's almost like you put like a meat thermometer. You put it in there. The internal temp has to hit whatever the credit score is, 640, right? Okay, let's get to, whoop, boom, you're ding, 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 now we're ready, okay? And whatever that might be. So, but don't call a crockpot buyer a buyer. Oh, I'm working with 8 buyers right now. Are you? You showed 8 people property this week. Well, okay, no. Okay, I'm talking about microwave buyers. So, able to buy, ready to buy, all right? Needs to buy. Hey, my lease is up in 45 days. Okay, and here's a big one. Ready for this one? Loyal to you. Loyal to you. Huge. How do you get them loyal to you? I got them to sign an exclusive buyer agency agreement. Great, good for you. All right. Let me know when you sue them after they buy with somebody else in civil court, and have fun with that. That's what you got to do to enforce that. Not a bad idea. I'm not against those things. Mentally, it kind of locks them in. But I want somebody that says, you know what? All right, Brian has so much knowledge, I'd be an idiot to use anybody else. Right? Be stupid. Hello? I don't care if my aunt's a realtor. Brian's my realtor. That's the truth. Because her aunt doesn't have the knowledge that Brian has. Right? And so with that in mind, that's how you get that loyalty, but you have to assure that loyalty. And if they're not loyal to you, hey, that's great. You know what? Then you better probably best serve to go, work with that person. Oh yeah, go ahead and send me a list of MLS properties. I'll add it to the other 6 lists I'm getting already. Okay, well, our lists aren't going to change because the MLS is a database and we're all picking from the same pool, right? So if you already got 6 lists coming in, you should be covered. You let me know if any of those don't work out. And you're moving on. Okay? Yeah, how would you'd really say that to somebody? Yeah, because I'm meeting 30 people a day. I'm not meeting one. You guys are meeting one person a day at your open houses, and you're hanging on to them like it's the, you're sucking onto their leg, and they're like, Jiminy Christmas. I told you my aunt's a realtor, and you're, golly, they can't shake you. And you're like psychologically, oh, I got a buyer. No, you don't, right? Go find somebody else. That's what I'm just telling you, right? So that's what we do. All right. So is it safe enough if I meet half? Oh, by the way, so I averaged one, but I averaged one. Sometimes I got shut out 3 weeks or 3 open houses in a row. And you know what I did? I showed up for number 4. And on the 4th one, all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Okay, all 7s, ding, 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 just started pouring out, right? I met 4 buyers that day, so now I'm back on track. All right, averaging 1 per open house. But a lot of you get shut out in 3, and this doesn't work, and you know what, tending bar wasn't that bad, all right? So you go back and you're, whatever, okay? And I get it, but stay disciplined to the facts, right? Okay, you got to trust the numbers, right? All right, so safe to say if I need 2 and I meet half every one, that if I sit 4 a month, I'm good, right? I meet half a buyer each time, 4 times a half is 2, and boom, there are my 2 deals. Got it? Perfect. All right, every time I speak to 15 people in my database, speak to 15 people. Speak to, right? Not put them in my drip campaign. Oh, they got my e-newsletter, all right? Or they got my market update. Great stuff. Go for it, right? But every time I pick up the phone and just say, hey, I was just driving by, I saw an ad for a karate school, and I thought of you because I remember little Johnny's taking jiu-jitsu. And I just wanted to check and see how you're doing. Period. Not, hey, I just drove by a billboard and saw a karate school, and it reminded me that Johnny's taking jiu-jitsu. By the way, does anybody you know looking to buy or sell real estate? That's what we're taught to do, right? We're taught to, every time you end a sentence, it's almost like your punctuation. Like you can't end a sentence without ending it with, by the way, does anybody you know looking to buy or sell real estate? All right? Screw that. Forget that. You know why? If you do that too many times, like twice, all right? Voicemail, voicemail, and you know when you get the automatic voicemail, right? It's one thing when it rings 6 times and you get voicemail. It's the other one when you get swiped, right? Like, that didn't even ring, right? They recognize my number and whoop, right to voicemail, all right? You know why? Because they can, over the phone, they can smell your commission breath. They can. They're like, holy smokes, right? Every time I talk to, it's like, all they're looking for is somebody to, how can I give them business, right? But if I just go talk to people with genuine concern, I just want to check them and see how you're doing. Literally, they know you're a realtor. You don't need to tell them, right? Now, if you got, ideally you would leave with, hey, you know what, things are great, boom, boom, yeah, Johnny's loving jiu-jitsu, but I think he's growing out of it, or we just moved to, hey, a good friend of ours owns a Taekwondo, thing. If they want to get a different, type of art going, you might want to check that out. Like, oh yeah, I'd love to see, maybe check that out, boom. You just go give massive value first. We call it earning the right, another hashtag, earn the right. You don't ask for the referral, you get the referral because you've earned the right to get the referral. You've given them massive value on the front side, they reciprocate that on the back side. Are you with me? All right? Totally different than I'm going to make my 15 calls. If you've been to Bold, I'm going to make my 15 calls to chiropractors because Tuesday's chiropractor day, all right? And we're just going to smile and dial. Here we go, and boom, boom. How about this? Let's just catch up and grab a cup of coffee. Every time I do that 15 times, I end up getting a referral. I don't know why. And your number might be 10, your number might be 20. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, the numbers are the numbers. I'm putting a formula out there. You put your numbers in. I get one qualified introduction. Okay? So, I need one transaction a month for that. So and when I say 15, I pick up the phone and catch up with people. Let's grab a cup of coffee. I would love, and they will get together with you because you're not ending the sentence and you don't have commission breath when you get together. Right? So they will get together with you. So, I've taken my big goal, 36 deals. I've never done 36 deals in my year in my life. All right? We all understand that 36 deals is only 3 a month. Right? And we understand that if every time I sit in an open house I get half a buyer, that means I need 2 of them from that. So I'm going to do 4 open houses, and I just talk to 15 people and have coffee with them. What's your job? Go get. By the way, you think you've got a tough job? You don't. Okay? You don't. All right? I know it's cold right now. I always say this. You think what we do is so hard? Okay, come July, I want you to get yourself a $1 iced tea from McDonald's in your air-conditioned car. Go sit and find a group of people either roofing or mowing lawns, okay, here in Florida in July. Then tell me how bad it is that your appraisal didn't come in. All right?
And then compare that income between what you're doing.
Exactly. Okay? That being said, don't ever lose sight that the income is good, all right? It really is. I know we work hard for our money. I'm not saying that. I get that. All right? But problems are good things. Because every time there's a problem, there's a chance for you to overcome a problem, and they're therefore justifying their need for you. Right? If there were no issues in real estate, there would be no real estate agents. Right? If the people can just do it on their own, if I can sell my car on my own, I'm going to sell it. Right? I'm going to sell
the problem once, though, you solve it again in the future.
Absolutely. Because it's the whole idea. And so we thank God for problems because we get a chance to shine and justify our value to the marketplace, right? And it keeps people from doing it on their own, right? There are a lot of things I don't want to do on my own. I don't want to do my own taxes, right? I could really pour through it and do it. I don't want to. I don't have the software that they have and everything else. Let them take care of it. Let them do what they do. I'll do what I do. Fair enough? Yes. Okay. So, it's that simple, guys. Take a look. Okay? If I meet with 15 people and have 4 open houses, then I'm going to get 3 deals. That's kind of crooked, isn't it? A little bit. All right. 36 sales. Remember, we overachieved. And our 36 sales is going to take us more than 125. It's going to lead us to 144 gross. 144 gross is going to, at our 20% expense ratio, is going to net us 115.2. All right? And why is it more than 100? Like I said, because we did 36 instead of 31.25 deals, right? We overachieved. Now, easy enough, right? Not that hard. Take a look. Finish the process. The plan is just to start. Step 1 is the plan. Got to have a plan. Don't get me wrong. It's very important, right? But most real estate people don't have a plan, all right? About 20% actually map out a plan like this. All right, so the fact that we're in this room today, you're in 20%. Okay, but about 90% of the 20%, okay, stop there. So do you want to take yourself to the upper echelon? Here we go. Implement. When I say this is not Happy New Year, it's Happy Do Year. Okay. Another word for implement is do. You have to take action. One of our favorite books that we read in 100K is called The Greatest Salesman in the World. In The Greatest Salesman in the World is, there are 10 scrolls. One of the scrolls is I will act now, right? I will act now. I will act now. I will act now, right? These are self-talk things that we do, right? And in there, he talks about, it's one of my favorite phrases. It says, there's never been a map so carefully designed in scale and intricacy that has ever carried its owner over 1 inch of ground. A plan's just nothing but a map. Good map's important, right? But a map doesn't take a step. In order to proceed along the road or the path that the map describes, we've got to take action. So you've got to implement. You've got to do it. Now, in order to implement, many of us need this, an accountability partner, right? Without it, it ain't happening. Oh, this year I'll do it, I promise. Yeah, well, you promised yourself for the last 15 years, right? And that's not working out so well for you, right? So let's, this time, and when I say accountability partner, I'm talking about a true one. I'm not talking about some friend's going to blow smoke up your backside, right? I'm talking to someone that says, hey, you know what, Janina, I get it. In life, you got 3 kids at home? 3? 2. Something I didn't know? Oh, your husband? Yeah, exactly. 3 kids, all right? I'm a kid as well, right? Got 2 kids at home. I get it, but when we met last week and you told me you were going to do X, you didn't say you were going to do X unless one of your sons gets strep. You said you were going to do X. That's harsh, isn't it? That's a little rough, right? I get it. Strep happens, right? But does that mean that the work stops? No. Things will occur, right? Don't allow yourself to fall prey to, oh, well, you know, if things were perfect, then I would be perfect. Yeah, there you go. Okay? Not going to happen, right? Life's going to come up. Things are going to be, obstacles going to be placed in our way. Those who overcome those obstacles are the ones that are going to be successful, period. Right? And you need an accountability partner who's going to kick you in the backside and say, hey, look, it didn't say if things were perfect you'd do this. It said you were going to do it, period, end of statement. You were going to win enough days so you can win the week, so you can win the month, so you can win the quarter, so you can win the year. Right? So we have to have somebody that's going to do that. So most of you means you got to change accountability partners. 100K, I've had people that have come to like 6 sessions, 8 sessions, 100K. Every time I bring up accountability partner, they're sitting next to each other. They look at each other with adoring eyes. Oh, yes, we're accountable. I say, enough. All right? It's not them, sorry. But you guys have been blowing smoke up your backsides, you know, each other for too long. Find new accountability partners. Because right now what you're doing ain't working. Right? Because someone, oh, that's okay. You pat them on the hand. All right? No, you want somebody that's going to bust you in the backside, kind of like Jeanette, my wife, all right? It's going to tell you, hey, numbers don't lie. Your talk, what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. She says that to me all the time. Dadgummit. She said the spreadsheet doesn't lie. Dadgummit. Right? I know. It's just tough, right? I'm with you. That guest bedroom doesn't look so good after a while. I mean, tell you, let's get things done, right? It's just matter. That's kind of accountability partner you need. All right. All right. Followed by monitoring. Here's the other thing that people don't do often enough. The next slide, and we'll get to it, but I'm going to go through it real quick. You guys have seen my trip to the moon slide? Okay. Trip to the moon's great. Let me show it to you real quick. We'll come back to this one. Okay. So here's our perception of trip to the moon. We shoot a rocket, it lands on the moon. Really cool. Great idea, right? Thumbs up, pretty easy. That's what we think it looks like. If we were talking about a God's eye view of that, all right? Here's the reality. If that small box that's on the path is just, let's say it's a 5-second portion of the trip and we magnified it 10,000 times, okay? That's what the big box, that's what that trip really looks like. Because they've learned in the trip to the moon that they can't wait to adjust their course. All right? They've got to be constantly monitoring their progress, because if they get too far off course, they become incorrectable and they make a movie about whatever. Okay, isn't there something that they get drifting off and they miss and They're in whatever. Isn't it like The Martian or something? What is that? I don't know. Anyway, put Brad Pitt in it and you win. All right, whatever. People will buy it. Here's the reality. You know, there's not enough fuel to get to the moon, right? You ever wonder how satellites, how do they refuel those things? They don't. Thank you very much. Because satellite's just falling around the Earth, right? Or falling around whatever it's orbiting, okay? What they do, all right, and for instance, this instance, when we get to the moon, we escape Earth's gravity because in space it's a vacuum, there is no friction. You point to the moon, fire a thrust, and then you coast, right? And you get close enough to the moon so that its gravity starts to attract you. Then you slow down enough, and then you, with some reverse thrust, and you actually slow down so that you fall, orbit the moon, you slow down some more, and now you fall to the moon, called the landing, all right? And you're there, boom. Pretty cool idea. Problem is that if we waited too long to check and see if we're on course, we might be too far off course to even make an adjustment. How many of you guys know this? Admit this to me. It's easier to lose 2 pounds than 20. Agree? Yeah. Right? The goal is, though, we got to catch ourselves when we're 2 pounds overweight. We can't wait till we're 20 pounds overweight because then it becomes sometimes insurmountable and we're like, forget it. Right? But when we're within 2, hey, that's doable. Right? I can lose 2. Let me just suck it up for a little bit. Right? Honeydew and honeydew. All right? Okay, let's get that. And here we go. Right? For 2 days and I'll be back at it. All right? But 20 seems unsurmountable. So let's catch ourselves when we're 2 pounds overweight. Let's not wait till we're 20 pounds overweight. That's what this is. It's a series of small adjustments. Now I got to go back. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We call it a weekly process. I encourage you to, we call it a Sunday night ritual, right? Every Sunday night I'm just going to check myself. Hey, I'm supposed to do 1 open house a week because 1 times 4 is like 4 a month. Okay, I didn't do 1 this week. Oop. All right, that's okay. Next week I do 2 and I'm back on track. Are you with me? What you do is you wait until June 30th to check for the first time, and you're supposed to have done 26 open houses by now, and you realize you've done 2, and now you're like, oh, I got to do 26 for the next half a year, and I got to do 24 to catch up. If I only did 2 and I'm supposed to do 50, now it's bartend, right? Here we go. It's just the way it works. I get it. I've seen it too many times, right? So, but if we catch ourselves often enough, and we can make a series of small adjustments is easier than big, huge adjustment. Right? It's not rocket science. Well, trip to the moon. It is kind of rocket science, but it's like that, okay? Make the necessary adjustments. Now, once we know the adjustments to make, you got to make them. Okay, it's one thing to sit there on Sunday and say, oh, I was supposed to do 2, I've only done 1, and then what do you do next week? 0. Okay, that's not making an adjustment, right? Once you know the adjustment to make, you need to make the adjustment. Fair enough? Okay. Experience, okay, when you do this, here's what I used to teach. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equals 6, right? Here's the reality. The downside of that is if I teach it adding up like that you'll get success unknown to the masses, because you really will. It's really a multiplier effect. That's really what it is. It's a multiplier effect, because the bad part of adding them up, and Janina can attest to that, is that if I'm adding those up, and if I have a 0 on number 3, I can still get a sum, right? That's worth something, okay? But if I multiply them, and if any of them are 0, now my product is 0. And I truly believe that once you start, if any of those are not in place, you lose the whole thing. Okay, they're exponential, meaning they multiply on themselves. Let me ask you this. Would you rather have 3 plus 3 or 3 times 3? 3 times 3, right? So the multiplying effect of it is where it comes into play, where you can now begin to experience the exponential results of that. Fair enough? So you multiply those out and you get experience unknown to the masses. Okay? Here's the last thing, and we'll end on this. You can't cheat the process. Don't try and do it. You can't fool the law of gravity. There are other laws. In 100K, we call it the law of the harvest. Right? In order to reap, you must, period. Have to. Right? You cannot, we call it the little red hen syndrome. You remember that story? You read it to all your kids, right? Who will help me till the ground, asked the hen. Not I, mooed the cow. Not I, barked the dog. Right? All those things, right? Nobody wanted to help. Who will help me plant the seed? Who will help me till the, or chafe the wheat? Who will help me ground the flour? Who will help me bake the bread? No one, no one, no one, no one. Who will help me eat the bread? Everybody's in, right? Okay? Everybody wants the bread without the work. You cannot cheat the process, period. So don't try it. If you're planning on cheating the process, then get out, right? Let's save the bread for us that want to work. Quit wasting the ground, right? If you're not going to do the whole process, then make it happen, all right? So you gotta be consistent in the process. Cool? All right. Last couple things, FHR agents. We've got some, pay attention, the calendar will be updated soon. I haven't got Mara the list update. I'll be roaming around again at the different offices in the next couple weeks. We're doing single agency. All right, what do you mean by that? You know, here at Future Home, we don't make you be a transaction broker. Matter of fact, we encourage single agency. I think it's a huge differentiator in the marketplace. That if I go in and have a chance to be a single agent versus a transaction broker, I can sell myself on that, and it could be the point that gets you the business over somebody else because they're mandated to be a transaction broker. Here's the other things. I got some people wandering in, probably from some other offices. If your broker is mandating you're a transaction broker, you're probably calling yourself a transaction broker and acting as a single agent anyway. All right? And you're breaking the law. So be careful of that, okay? So we're going to be wandering around doing that. Any of our nexters, people who are in next. Here's what, the next was after the 100K, all right? We go to the next group. We had a hard time getting together because next our 100Kers are busy, right? And that's good. So pay attention. I'm going to be putting some stuff out. We're going to be doing some Zoom sessions and some different things where we can do it remotely and be getting together more often, so pay attention to those. Last thing, I mentioned the JAM group. The JAM group is awesome. They're a subgroup, kind of grew out a little bit of 100K, and then they kind of they are a smaller, how many guys got that meet consistently?
14.
Okay, 14 or so. They got a couple more than that in the Facebook group, but then they kind of have some rules about you've got some accountability, right? If you want to be part of the group.
All about accountability.
That's it, right? They're a small mastermind group. They meet at the Newport Richie office. I want to see more of these things happening. You're going to see opportunities that I'm going to put out there for you guys to get together in smaller groups to create subsets because you need to meet more often. Because, you know, as I say, this business is easy, but sometimes when it beats you up, it's easier to get along or go through it or work through it if you've got a support group to help you through, right? There's a reason why AA has meetings, all right? Okay, I'm just telling you, right? Oh, we can just do it online. Well, they don't cut it. AA, you're right? Or it doesn't work, all right, to do AA online, all right? And so there's power in the group. You guys are in a little AA meeting right there, okay? Okay, there's power. What's that? Oh, well, it's their own version of the AA meeting, all right? It's that concept. But the idea is that when you get together in smaller groups, people know, we got 1,300 agents at Future Home Realty, all right? It's hard for you all to know each other. You guys do deals and like, oh, I didn't realize you're a Future Home agent, right? Okay, now, though, I'm going to encourage you opportunities to get together in smaller, intimate groups so you guys can continue to grow together because I'm telling you, they outperform the rest of the bigger groups because they have the accountability of the smaller group, all right? And it's powerful. And so just be encouraged, and I encourage you to look for ways that we can do that more often. Cool enough? All right? I know we're late, so anything else I can answer for you before we go? No? Happy New Year? All right? Go get them. Look for those opportunities. You'll get an email out about when those meetings are coming up. You're sticking around for Kevin's meeting. You guys getting started right now?
Probably like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Everybody leaves. It's way too early in the year for my ego to take a shot. All right. Set up real quick.
All right, perfect. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.